Title of the story: The Wrestling Match from Waray. This story started at Venezitahan is a small barrio in San Antonio, northern Samar. Some 30 years ago, in this barrio, there were perhaps only 3 houses. There were no stores and people bought their daily necessities in the store of the Chinaman Diandi in the neighboring barrio of Dalampirat, 6 kilometers away. One day, as we had run out of rice, salt and kerosene, I had to go to Dalampirat. The way was rough because of the balite and ipple roots that crisscrossed the road. I left Venezitahan at about 5 in the afternoon, but it was already getting dark when I started to walk home. While passing by the house of my compadre, who had the reputation of being an aswang, he called out to me. "Where are you going, Pear?" "I'm going home, Pear," I answered. "It's already late. Why don't you spend the night with me?" he invited. "Thanks, but I have to go home tonight because your comadre has no one with her." "It's already dark. It will surely take you till midnight to reach home." "That's all right," I replied, drawing out my bolo and saying, "Whoever dares to molest me should think twice." I walked through the coconut plantation without any trouble. But when I reached the part where there were balite and ipple roots, I became afraid and my hair stood on end. I rubbed my ears to warm them and overcome my fear. After crossing the big roots of the trees, someone suddenly bumped me from behind and I fell into the mud. I looked back and sure enough someone had deliberately struck me and grasped the shirt on my back. I calculated that we were about the same size. I grabbed him, even while he still held me, and we wrestled until we both rolled in the mud. When I got up, he also got up and we wrestled again. We were both strong, but I felt as if I would be defeated because of his very strong, slimy odor which made me feel faint and nauseated. I let him go and he quickly grabbed me by the chest. I held him by the hand and tried to bump it against something, but I felt I was lifted off the ground. I tried to free myself from his grasp, but I did not have the strength to do it. When I looked upward, I saw that my head was touching the branches of the balek tree, and in my estimation, its lowest branch must be 10 meters from the ground. I was brought upwards by my opponent. I grabbed his neck and strangled him. I heard a click and this sound produced a corresponding thud in the mud below. My foe let me go, and as he passed by me, I pulled out my bolo and struck at him, but I missed. He ran and disappeared in the woods. I gave chase, but he had disappeared. The next morning, I went back to Dalampirat and visited my compadre. His neck was very stiff, caused, he said, by his bad position during his sleep the night before. End of story. Motifs, male witch, which has extraordinary bodily strength, lifts opponent up to branches of tree. Witch is body slippery, which recognized by slimy odor. Fighting and wrestling with witch. Now we go to our second story, the legend of Antipolo. Antipolo, mountain sanctuary of the Virgin of Peace and Safe Voyage, is a town rich in legend, tradition, and history. The story of Antipolo is so interwoven with that of the Virgins that neither can be told completely without telling the other. The Virgin's image was carved from dark wood centuries ago in Acapulco, Mexico, by Mexican craftsmen skilled in the manufacture of religious statuary. Governor General Juan Niño de Tabra brought the image to the Philippines on March 25, 1626, aboard a Spanish galleon, El Almirante. At that time, the blessed image was not yet called the Virgin of Peace and Safe Voyage. It was much later that it came to be the patron saint of voyagers. The arrival of the image in Manila was an occasion for joyous celebration. A religious procession accompanied the image's transfer from the galleon to San Ignacio, a Jesuit church in Intramuros. When the Governor-General died, the image was left under the care of the Jesuit fathers. The image was taken to a mission church in the military zone of Moron, which roughly comprised the limits of the present province of Rizal. The mission church was located in the region called Stug Cruz, a place in the present site of the town of Antipolo. Legend blends with historical fact at this juncture. According to legend, the Virgin's image disappeared on 2 occasions from its altar at Stug Cruz, and each time was recovered from the branches of a tree called the Tipulo. A church was built near the tree to prevent the miraculous image from vanishing once more. The Tipulo tree was cut and its trunk made into a pedestal for the image. A town gradually rose around the church as time passed. The town was called Antipolo, a name resulting from the combination of ang, a Tagalog word, meaning the Antipulo, the name of the tree. The Chinese in Antipolo rose in revolt in 1639, killed the town's inhabitants, and burned the church. The Virgin's image, it is said, was thrown into the fire, but would not burn. The Chinese then tried to destroy the image and transferred it to Manila, thence to Cavite, where it stayed for 14 years. In 1647, the Dutch, who were at war with Spain, attacked the town of Cavite. The Dutch were repulsed, and the successful defense of the town was, and still is, attributed by the people to the presence of the Virgin's image. From 1648 to 1748, the Virgin's image made 5 trips to Acapulco, and each time the ship returned safely to the Philippines. These journeys took anywhere from 1 to 5 years, and were extremely dangerous because Spain was at war with England. The Spanish galleons were a fare for the English navy. After these successful ocean crossings, Catholics named the image Virgin of Peace and Safe Voyage. The image was then returned to its altar in Antipolo. The Virgin of Antipolo remained at peace till 1944, toward the end of the Second World War, when Japanese troops entrenched themselves in the town in anticipation of the arrival of American troops. At the first American attack, the Japanese set fire to the town. The people took it upon themselves to save the Virgin's image from destruction. The parish priest, his assistant, and 2 sisters of the church school laid down their lives while saving the image in its escape over mountain trails to the town of Pasig. A rescue party sent by the Archbishop of Manila brought the image from Pasig to Manila in a jeep. The Brown Virgin, as the image is also called, stayed in Quiapo Church until October 15, 1945, when with solemn ceremonies and accompanied by thousands of devotees she was returned to Antipolo. End of story. Motifs: place named after tree found in the area. Fire obeys the saint's image does not burn.